Hello folks, woohoo! It's Thursday, and you know what? For the first time in 2.5 years, I nearly forgot that it was Thursday because it's midsummer tomorrow. So I thought it was Saturday tomorrow, so I thought it was Friday today. Super weird. Okay, so welcome guys. Let's just make sure everything is getting set up. I'm just going to do a quick announcement in the Discord here. I intended to do that beforehand. Meanwhile, could we do a check on the audio? If is the voice okay? I've had some mic problems, got some massive distortion. People said I sounded like a robot, maybe more than usual. And I'm gonna get some music going here as well. It's gonna be very warm in Sweden tomorrow. Well, it's really warm today, it feels like. I've got my little trusted fan here. I created this little contraption here. I don't know if you can see it. Well, I can't even see it myself. It's a case fan that I use for emergencies. Oh yeah, there we go. So I've hooked it up to a little power supply and I'm actually fanning myself with it. It's my greatest fan right now. Please, oh yeah, okay, I've got some, no music so far. No, I'm gonna put some on as well. No, it's not playing. Ain't play. There we go. Whoa, 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 whoa. There we go, music's on. Well, it's loud in my ears, probably not in yours because the volume's different. Okay, I think we're set up. Gonna get some more people dropping in and get my screen set up here. So, hello everyone and welcome. It's Thursday and we're gonna do one more live session now and a little bit of an update here because last week I was meaning to stream but I lost my voice. I got quite ill with a flu. I don't think people even test for corona anymore, so I don't know if that's what it was. I had that earlier in the year. So if that was the case, it was a mild case of corona in that case. I'll have a case of a 6-pack corona next time. But it wasn't too bad, but I just could not speak so well. And it was a bit stressing because we had the tournament, the Line War tournament was on this weekend. And we were stressing to get that in place because we are having a vacation, a summer vacation. So me and Bas Santos, or Christian, that's his real name, we've been working on Line War pretty much straight for 3 years now, every business hour of the clock. So finally now we're gonna have vacation from that. And vacation for me means that I can start doing some other stuff too. So I'm gonna put Line War on pause and I'm gonna focus my spare time on videos instead. So I saw somebody said in the chat there, what about, come on, release some videos. Really excited about that because I want to create some videos. I've got a lot of thoughts that I've accumulated and I know I've been speaking about it a lot, but with the release of the game, it's no excuse, but it's a reason. Maybe that's how you say it. So we released it on 5th of May, Line War. So if you haven't seen it, check it out on Steam. And we had to get a Unity upgrade. We were still running on Unity 2018, which was really problematic for us because it's not supported anymore. And we needed to change the network library, and I've said this a few times, but they finally released the new netcode, the Unity transport, but it's super poorly documented. There's basically no documentation hardly, and you have to dig through old release notes to find a little hint on what certain enumeration and stuff is. But we really needed to get it replaced because we had some network problems with the previous library and it wasn't supported, and also some other Unity bugs with the nav mesh and stuff. So it's really important for us to get that out before this summer holiday. And then before the tournament as well, because I implemented this replay system that you could actually watch replays. And before I get started with the stream, I think I want to show you because that tournament was a huge blast. We had 32 players teaming up to play in the tournament. And it was, we're going to host these quarterly, so this was a bit of a test run, but it was the first quarterly official Line War tournament that we held. And it was a lot of fun. We had about 126 matches playing, and I was a bit concerned with my voice since I lost the voice earlier, well, for my Thursday stream, and I had to do some narration or commentary on the Saturday and the Sunday. And I just barely I had a Barry White voice, or Darth Vader or whatever. And then, or James Earl Jones did that voice, didn't he? So I had quite a broken voice, but I managed to get through it, and it was a lot of fun. We co-hosted, me and Bas Santos, and we've got a commentator called Michael Frost, did a great job as well. And we released those videos on the Twitch stream, which is, there's a Line War game Twitch channel now. So I had to stream to that one and archived it as well to the Line War channel. So let's check it out in the chat. Who we've got here? We've got the usual suspect. We've got Unknown 3D. Hello, how are you, man? I'm good, thanks. I'm good now. And today is my last day of Line War work for 8 weeks. But I might do a little bit of spare time stuff for it, and we have to monitor the service that they're up and running. But I'm going to allocate the rest to family, fixing stuff for the house, and relaxing, taking care, and doing YouTube videos. Not streaming, but videos. I want to make YouTube videos about Blender and game development. Really looking forward to doing those. Need to get back into that routine. So we've got Lego developers. Hello there. Hello. Welcome. We've got Andreas Brillen, Obel. I hope your voice is better. I think it's better. It still sounded, it's a bit bassy. I don't know. We've got Off the Rails is here. Audio's fine. Cool. No music yet. It's on now. And Calligator said about the video. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. And we want you want me to restart the 10-minute modeling challenge. You missed those. Do you know what? I missed those too. And more, maybe, I was going to say more importantly, but it's not more importantly. But I haven't done a super amount of modeling in the past 2 to 3 months because of the game release, and I'm actually feeling when I get into Blender now, it's a what's it called, a färskvara in Swedish. You have to keep it fresh. So maybe it would be an opportunity to finally reboot that one now. I've definitely got the time now during the summer to do it. So. And it could do with the practice. I'm a bit scared about the results now because I'm probably stepped back in my evolution for a while. But hey, that's maybe that could be encouragement for everyone too. Let's have a look. What else have we got? Now would be a what do you mean? Now it would be good. Oh, you said now it would be a good time to insert an ad. So I clicked a button and I think it inserted one. Oh, I think I've got the wrong resolution as well. Let's have a look. Wow, doing all sorts of weird stuff now. I'm gonna check 1920 by 1080. $2640. Oh, I did 10 pixels too many. I went too far. All right, I think I might just let one slide this time. Not optimum, hopefully it's all right. So let's have a look. We've got a random racer here. Good day, Imphenzia. Did Lineware meet your expectations in this congested industry? Very, very good question. So when it comes to Lineware, it's we knew that it's a niche market with real-time strategy games. It's a little pond with only a few players, and a lot of those players are very, how should I say? They've played a lot of RTS games and expect a certain thing in that case. So we knew it was going to get difficult. And then on top of that, we released a multiplayer-only game. And that's what both me and Christian likes to play, and that's what we wanted to create. But the market could have done, I think we should have, in hindsight, of course, hindsight is always 2020, but we should have added a practice AI. So it would have increased maybe sales a little bit more. So I mean, I can't say that it met the expectations. What really surprised me is that we got a bunch of sale, and we stayed on the new and trending page for a long time, 10 days or 12 days. We were on #1 in RTS, all RTS. We were on top of even Dune Spice Wars. We stayed on new and trending on the front page for about 10 days as well, which is incredible. And I thought that those figures would translate into maybe 10 times the amount of sales that we saw. So it's when we're looking at the figures, it's not sustainable as it is now, because we put 3 years of development into the game, and we're in a situation now where maybe for the first time we can start paying a salary for the first time in 3 years. And with the sales, I think maybe we can sustain that for about... if we don't calculate on any further income, maybe it could sustain it for about half a year or something. But we're planning to keep updating the game, and hopefully it'll gain traction. People will see that Lineware is there to stay, and it'll evolve over time. And when we add that single player feature, I think we're going to see some more player counts increasing as well. So the problem now is, so when you look at the reviews, they're really important. And for the most part, we had very positive reviews, 87% stayed for quite some time. But the negative reviews that we are is the lack of single player, and also that the player, it's a bit difficult to matchmake, especially certain times during the day. So those are problematic because when the people express concerns in the review, which is rightly so, they have all the right to do so. But then people get a bit concerned and they go, oh, maybe I shouldn't buy this one. And meanwhile, if those people would have bought the game maybe and played it instead, they would have increased the mass. But I understand why that's the case, and we're working on it. I'm a bit concerned now with the holiday that's coming up now for 8 weeks that we're not going to be able to release. I was hoping to get that practice AI in place. So I'm hoping that the reviews will read, because we've updated the page and say, if you want a single player game, don't buy Line War yet. Don't buy it yet. Come back later when we've added it, because those are the type of the reviews that we see. But on the flip side, we've had a lot of reviews which is really lifting the game to the skies, saying that the command system, the strategic elements, the replayability value is absolutely incredible. So I'm really, really thrilled about those. I was worried about those before we released it because I thought maybe the market isn't ready for something totally different. But that has been super positive. So let's see, we got Last Shadow. Hi there, I just came to pass by to say thank you for being so honest and good teacher in your tutorials, and a nice person too. Thanks. Very kind to hear so. And as many have noticed, I haven't released videos since even a month leading up to the release of Line War. And I wouldn't say it's the most stressful time I've had in my life, but it's definitely the most busy in terms of having to do stuff, because you get so many roles when it's only me and Christian that's released the game. And we have to release it, we have to do the programming, the marketing, we have to write up everything, try to respond to reviews, we have to keep the servers up and running, we have to please everyone to say what's going on, we had to host a tournament, we've got to create the promo material and keep developing and updating. So it's been quite a hectic period. It's a good thing I love doing what I do, because I can't complain. If this is what work is like, I'm not complaining at all. So you said, Matt Walker, do it as a separate game to double your revenue. No, well, we released Line War as a lower price game to begin with, because we wanted, first we were going to release that as early access, but the more we learned about early access, the less we actually decided that we wanted to do it. If we would have released it a year ago, when it was a lot more unfinished, then we would have gone for early access. But with Steam Next Fest, we had a lot of players playing. We had like 20, 30, I think maybe, 30,000 matches played. So we got a lot of the input, and we realized that the game is stable and the replayability is there. And we don't have the single player yet or campaigns or anything, but we can add that in the future. If you look at games like Fortnite, for example, then it's a totally different game, but it's released and they just change it over time, add features. So we figured we want to try to get rid of that early access tag, because we need to maximize the player base. We want people to come in and go, oh, here's a multiplayer RTS game, and 1v1, that is a really finished game. You can play. We've had, I just calculated today, I think we've got about 80,000 matches have been played so far, or 76,000 matches, and about 83,000 hours of playtime, I think. So, but in the future, I think we're going to be adding branching off Line War at some point. We've been speaking about stuff like a World War II version, for example, or some different a Line War 2, or like similar to the Battlefield series where they did the Line War 1942 in Arcus. So we'll see. It's going to be seen. Oh, we got another one who wants to bring back the 10M MSC. Okay, so that's I hear you guys. I hear you. And we got. Punch, will you do more 10-minute blender? It's really entertaining. I miss watching them. So loads of you guys are wanting that. So sounds good. All right, let's have a look more. Do at Imphenzia. Those are the ones that are easiest for me to spot. And then, hey Imphenzia, how much do you credit your YouTube channel for the marketing of Line War? Good question, Nate. And I don't think it's that much actually, because. What I've learned is that the core audience is very important when you look at what you're promoting. So I've got a game development and modeling channel. That's well, it's supposed to be a music channel in Imphenzia from the beginning, but it turned more into modeling and Blender. And the support I got from there is huge, because I mean, people are. I think I don't know have any figures on it, but a lot of people said that they'll buy the game to support it. But in terms of a successful game release on Steam, those numbers, even if it's, let's say it's 100 people, or even 500 people, or even 1,000 people, that wouldn't be enough to get that feature on the main page. So, whereas the game, when Line War is featured on RTS channel, so let's say it's the same subscriber count, about 250,000, I think I'm nearly up to now. So if that's released with a real-time strategy channel, all of those people are potential. They're eager to play something new. So out of those 250,000, it could be nearly every one of those would be interested. Whereas in my case, it's more people that want to support, I think. Maybe the odd ones are also RTS interested. But of course it helps, and without my channel it would be very difficult to even reach out at all. And this is something we debated a lot before making Line War. I think I was a lot more pro being transparent about the development throughout the whole process because I've read a lot about it and I've followed a lot of indie developers. And the problem isn't really that people usually are going to steal your idea. It's more that you're going to have it difficult to reach out. But at the same time, I respected the wishes, and we agreed that we were going to do the first year of development under the radar because we had a new system. We didn't want to really reveal the whole command system. We wanted to try it out first. But marketing is definitely the hardest thing, I think, to do. It's very, very, very difficult to reach out. And it feels like the internet is like when you release something, sometimes it feels like it just gets sucked into a void or a black hole, and you think, oh, why isn't there anything more about this? And then suddenly something happens and it gets a little bit more interest. The first video, I think the reveal video I did, it was a strange pattern for that one. I think I created finally a new RTS game is coming. I released one of those videos. And for the first time, I saw that most of the traffic for that video did not come through YouTube, which is absolutely most commonly. People find it, they discover it through browsing what's recommended and stuff. But about 90% of that came through YouTube or Google searches, which is very different, I'd say. And it had a bit of a window there, and it gained about 50,000 views in pretty short time. And that had more impact than my actual YouTube channel because those hits were coming from people that actually searched for RTS game or new one. So it's a little bit on that topic. Oh, thanks, Jen. The two of you deserve a nice long break. Thanks. Yeah, 8 weeks. I'm nearly scared to mention it in the Discord and to people. I wrote a big Steam announcement today. I'm scared that people are going to go, you're leaving the game. But that's not our intention at all. But it'll be nice to have a little bit of a break. All right, let's have a look. Ooh, Omega Destroyer. Thank you very much for your contribution here. Got a super chat coming in. My sister and I learned the basics of Blender from your 10-minute modeling challenges. Thank you from Israel. Thank you very much for that contribution. Very happy to help you and your sister. Absolutely fantastic to hear that. Super nice. Oh, yeah, my camera's a bit tilted. I'm a bit tilted. Let's fix it. There you go. That joint is given out. I'm feeling so. I've got the wrong resolution. The camera is tilted. I'm looking forward to having this vacation now, so I can actually get this streaming back on track, or not streaming, but the videos. We got Julia Alder, Imphenzia. Could you do another outdoor video to show us more of your beautiful landscape one day? The last one is long ago. Yes, it is. And I bought a new camera before, so I was gonna... I've tilted it the other way. I bought a new camera, so I wouldn't have to bring the one out that's actually right in front of me. And I've hardly used it, and I feel really bad about that. So it's a very good idea, Julia. And it's really nice weather now, so I should go out and shoot some in this area. And let's see, we got another one here, Random Racer. I'm just going through comments now. So we have the... let's see, that's awesome. So glad you continue to support it. I have friends in the mobile industry that make 2 games a year, and they're struggling with going back to fix bug fixes, which is a shame. Yeah, one important thing for us is that the game... Why is there like dramatic music here? Let's change it to something more upbeat. There we go. So in our case, we released the game, and by no means it's like sit and relax and wait for the money to come in. It's even more work than it was before, because now you got your eyes on you, you got expectations, and you got uptime. So it's very difficult. But it's... And I think I haven't tried mobile games. I think that's an even tougher market. It used to be the thing to do, I think, to be able to have a chance. Now I think Steam is definitely a viable thing, but I can feel the fact that there are a lot. I think there are about 40 Steam games a day that's released, I think. So it's very difficult to get noticed there. I am tempted to do a different Steam game too. So I'm tempted to do something a little bit more mainstream, and because I'm very interested to see how that would compare to something so niche and problematic, or should I say challenging, as the RTS game. because it'll be, when you look at the figures of some of the games, like for example, you got that platformer called Hollow Knight. So that was a Ludum Dare game, I think, originally, if I'm not mistaken. And I mean, it's incredible. If you hit the sweet spot and create something that people buy and enjoy playing like that, it's absolutely incredible. So let's see, Arvid, thanks a lot. Someone else want to support Imphenzia? Well, very kind of you. If you, I understand I'm not creating that much more content than sitting there babbling on. So, but I'd be very thankful for anyone, and thanks to all my Patreon who's doing that. I'm looking forward, like I said, to create some videos, and I'm going to go into the Patreon site and update that and make sure that everything is in order. So. Jules as well, indie game development is a tough gig. Yeah, it's very difficult to succeed indeed. And I wouldn't say, it's funny to I should say this as well, because it gets a little bit, I mean, I'm old enough to realize that this is the reality now. But when you look at some of the comments and reviews, and you have people, some of the stuff really, you know, you have comments in reviews going that, oh, these developers are lazy, they haven't done this, or they didn't care about doing this, and I hate the laziness of developers. And if they could have a peek in through like creating a game without pay, without knowing if it's even going to bring you any money at all, for 3 years, and push on and still do it because you love doing it, and then to blame, or to say that it's laziness or something, it's a bit frustrating. But it's a lot of stuff that's being said on the internet that you can get upset about, so I decide not to do it. But it's I find it a little bit more amusing maybe than anything to read it. And then you also get the flip side in comments, and I have to like prevent myself from going in writing too much about it. I always have to stay the positive guy about that. But then you have people back commenting the other person and saying, hey, this is not how it works. Because some people will defend you as well in the comments. They'll say like, hey, look, these guys have created a game. It's selling for the price of 2 Big Macs. Hey, maybe, it can't have everything. It's 2 guys. So I love those comments, because people realize, and I think that's for the most part, people do understand that. But then you'll have another one responding on that one, a comment saying, hey, you clearly don't understand how game development does. These 2 guys haven't done anything without pay. They have a salary, they're getting paid wages. That's how it would be illegal to do anything else. So it's a bit frustrating to see comments like that, because then you go, okay, well, if you start your own business and you create a game, you have to make it good enough so people buy it. Otherwise, you're not going to get paid for it. So it's, I guess it's quite amusing. Something to talk about on this channel and to anyone else. So if you're creating a game, expect that type of thing. It's unavoidable. So market for so Mega Wigan, but market for games is growing like crazy, right? Too, yeah, it is. It's just that there's, I mean, with the game engines as well, like Unity and Unreal and Godot now and everything, it's so easy. No, I shouldn't say it's easy to make games, but it's easier than it was before. But it's very difficult to make a great game, or a good game that's going to be noticed, because there's so many of them. Oh, Draco, let's have a look here. Thanks. I haven't seen you in a long while. Nice to see your name in the chat. Welcome. Oh, okay. Lost interest. I hope that... so I picked up 3D printing, and it's sparking my happiness. I'm glad to hear that. 3D printing, I'd love to see what you're creating, and very nice to see your name. I hope the interest comes back and you get a little bit of a swing up in those things, and 3D print other stuff. See what you can create. All right, let's have a look. We've got some more. I think I'm up to speed with the @Imphenzia comments here. So Deacon as well, how are you doing? Good, thanks. How are you? What is the rumor about Australia? Yeah, we'll see. If we're gonna do a little around the globe trip, maybe in a few months, we'll see. And I'll like to check that. We went actually to Australia and New Zealand in 2016 with the intention of potentially moving there for a while. And an opportunity is opening up, so, but there's a lot of stuff that needs to fall in place. We've got a house, we've got, my wife's got a job here. My job is good because I can do it from anywhere in the world. It's a bit scary with income, because you never know for certain, but it's going to be interesting to see what's happening. So we might go for a little global trip now and see what's happening in the world. Yeah, Brim, glad to see you're well again. What's the topic today? I don't know. I'm just chatting, filling in on some comments here. So, oh, Marcus Landström as well. Thank you very much for your very kind contribution as well. We got a super chat. Learned both Blender and took my first steps in Unity thanks to you. Huge thanks. If you come to Stockholm and want to, a photo walk companion, I'm game and easy to find. Well, I'm in Nynäshamn now, so I'm super close, Marcus. We should, especially with the weather now. Do you know what? I should dust off the camera. I bought that camera it's nearly a year ago now. How crazy is that? And I need to film with it. I need to go, maybe document Stockholm if we're going to go out and travel about a little bit. Okay, so we've got Random Racer. If you're making your way through Melbourne, give us a shout. Well, I'm planning to go to Melbourne too, because a good friend of mine, who I've never met for that matter, but Todd Darcy out of this Fox Studios, he's creating a game called Falling Frontier. I nearly say that wrong every time. Absolutely incredible game, and it's an indie game. You should check it out, Falling Frontier. He's actually bought my procedural planet assets and making good use out of them. Actually, do you know what? Can I show you this? I'm going to pause the music because check this out. He's creating. I'm very proud that my procedural planets made it into such a game. He's been working on that game for as long as we've created Line War, and his result, the stuff that he's working on, is absolutely spectacular. So I want to show you guys a little bit about that one. Just let me bring that up on my screen here. Falling Frontier. He's probably released a new trailer. He does that all the time. Really, really good stuff. We got, here's an official trailer. So, check this out, guys. I'm going to up the volume. Hope I do this right now. I'm not so good at switching stuff here. I wonder if I can change my resolution on the flyer. Video. No, I'm not allowed. All right, let me do a quick glitch and just going to change. I'll be right back, so don't go anywhere. All right, don't know if that worked or not. I think the stream should be coming back up now anyway. Let's have a look. That's it. And skip ads. So I just want to give you a quick little show on this one. So the still there, and that's good. I'm happy. I'm going to bring the volume up a little bit here. And here's a clip from Falling Frontier. So he's a single developer creating this game. He doesn't do the modeling. I don't think he buys assets for that, and he purchased the music too. So let's see if you can see any of the planets. So this is an indie game from Todd, who's in Melbourne. I'm going to lower the volume a little bit here as well. So the planets, those are the gas giants, so they don't really appear to be much. I don't know if this particular video features any of the other planets, but I did create this Unity asset that creates a randomized planets. The asset was only 6 megs in size, and it creates really virtually 60,000 by 60,000 pixel textures near enough. If you were to compare it, because you can do some real magic on the GPU that really just interpolates stuff, and I used Substance Designer to create the textures. But all of these planets now, they're all gas giants, so you can't really see much on them. They will have something come through in just a second. I'll have to lower the volume a little bit again. But we've been in contact, and he's helped me out a lot. We spoke a lot about the. Here we go. Here's some procedural planets like Mars, So we've spoke a lot about releasing the game on Steam. He's given me some tips, and one thing that you should know is if you're going to release something on Steam, it's very, very important to get your wishlist counts up, because promoting the game within Steam is the key thing, I'd say, to releasing your game there. It needs to gain traction in the internal system or the algorithm. And if you really want to make a living out of a game, I'd say that you need to reach, at least, I think there's a magic boundary of 10,000 wish lists that people are saying literally that they're going to buy your game. Not all of them will do it, but that's a magic border. We spoke a lot about that one, and this game is doing tremendously. I mean, even IGN here is featuring the trailers on this game, and it looks absolutely fantastic, I think. So should check that out. And again, I'm so... Now, this particular video didn't really show the planets that much. But I'm really thrilled to see that that my planet actually made it into such a high-profile thing. Cool. Oop, nearly put the outro on there. I also want to show a little bit here. Let's see. What about restarting the modeling challenge to 20-minute time span? Learned a lot from the last series. Well, the thing is, Luis, that I think the 10-minute mark is pretty good. The reason being that I've noticed that the end result doesn't look significantly much better at 20 minutes. I just slow down my pace instead. And the good thing about the 10-minute modeling challenge, it's a bit like one of those quick sketches that you force yourself to just move on and accept the way things are. So I'd say that I'm probably going to stick to that format. And then maybe do the occasional long one. It was fun to do that spaceship, the one I did for episode 100, but that was like 100 minutes instead of 10 minutes. So maybe I could have featured some of the ones that are a bit longer. But I actually like the fact that you have to rush through it and just do it. So I'm going to stick, I think, to 10 minutes if I do pick it up again. All right, let's else what we've got here. So at Imphenzia, if you want to say something in particular to me, what's your specs, Imphenzia? Well, 47, just had birthday. No, I guess you mean my computer. It's a pretty good computer now. It's an i12, is it called even? With a 3090. Sounds like a jet engine, and I've had some stability issues, so it's caused me a little bit of a headache then. Right. I also wanted to show you guys a little bit from the tournament, because I'm quite proud of the way that panned out. Not to toot my own horn. Toot toot. Let's toot it. You have to do that sometimes, I guess. But I do want to bring up, I was quite happy with the way this worked out. So, sounded Canadian. Worked out. No, it didn't. I'm no good with accents. Let's bring up this here. Yeah, 47. 11th of June was my birthday. So I got sick just after my birthday. And I went to the cinema with my family and watched Top Gun Maverick. I've been waiting for that film ever since the first Top Gun came out. Absolutely fantastic. Loved it. You should see it. If you like that type of film, that is. So let's have a look. We've got... I wanted to show you this, because I created this thing. And in Line War, everything's like off at the moment, the resolutions and everything. I created a new system called... it's a replay system. So when a Line War match finishes, it automatically uploads it to the... it's a blob storage in Azure. So the server will put all the ones up. And when they appear, let's say I hadn't downloaded this one, then they'll appear all the ones here, and you can just double click on them and it'll download them straight from the blob into the game. And then you can double click to load them. And then you can share them by just clicking this little cloud icon and pasting that in to someone else, and they'll actually be able to download that replay. And one of the things I wanted to show was there was a game here. Let's have a look where it is. It would be... Oh no, didn't I have that one? It was actually Michael Frost that was hosting that one. Let me bring that up just a second. So let's go into the Discord. You can see my weirdo face for a little while instead. As I do a quick dive into Discord. I'm going to be looking forward as well to switching into my Imphenzia Discord. I've been having to respond to bug reports and tournament chats for a long time. So I'm actually looking forward to be able to switch over a little bit to be my own Discord for a change. Sorry guys, I've been leaving you hanging for so long. But let's have a look. This is the one I wanted to do. I know I'm not showing my screen at the moment, but I'm going to show it now. And this is how it works. When you know the name of a replay, you can just click it and download it, and it downloads that particular replay. This was a long match. Usually a Line War match is about 30 minutes, maybe, on average, I'd say. And you got a few ones that are like 48, 45, 28, 17, and some very short ones too. Just wanted to fast forward a little bit into this one to show you guys here. This was one of the tournament matches we had, and we're getting some players that are really good. This one, one of the players, someone said my nickname sucked. He's actually played over 800 matches of Line War. So he's the top. He's played more than anyone else so far. I'm not going to like broadcast this whole thing because it's long, but I wanted to just show you a little bit so you can fast forward. If you haven't created replay systems, you might wonder why a lot of the games don't really allow you to rewind, and we can't do that either. You can only fast forward in most games. Well, not in most. Some of course do rewind, but it's because we just grab all the network traffic and store it into a file instead. And then when you play it back in a game, if you've created a game, then you just take all the messages, you program it in that way that you can just replay all of them, and you can speed it up. And theoretically, you could skip forward by just super fast forwarding it and skipping over them. But it's important that when the messages come, you might want to create like an airport. You want to create the units. You instantiate these objects in Unity. In this case, they're all getting built up and destroyed just like you were playing the game. But to go back, you'd have to create logic to start destroying stuff, clearing the memory out, and doing trying to backtrack stuff. Maybe we've got a lot of craters here that are formed on the... So it's very problematic. It might sound trivial, but it is quite problematic actually to do it. So if you were ever curious why sometimes, and it's not just an easy fix, if sometimes you'll see in the comment, can you just include a rewind feature too? And it's not just a matter of adding a button there. It's actually super complicated to do it. This looks, you should put Benny Hill music to this when you're playing it this fast. Just wanted to show maybe mid-game here somewhere, because this game was quite fun to, well, at least I guess if you're into strategy games, but we had some spectacular battles out here at sea. This probably makes no sense if you're not actually playing this game. I'm just realizing it's like showing my wife this now. She'll go like, what? This is good in what way? Do you know what? I'm just realizing that. Speaking about the YouTube audience, do you know what? Let's just bring my face back instead. Woo! There we go. But we also got I think we broadcasted about how many? I think we broadcasted maybe 20 matches or so. So it was good fun. Just add a button. Software management. Yeah. All right. So should we do something a little modeling maybe in Blender? So from one thing to the next. Let's bring Blender up here. I've started it just in case here. I've got too many. I've got two monitors. Do you guys use two monitors or one monitor? I'm a one monitor type of guy. I prefer to alt tab between everything instead. As soon as you start spreading stuff out between different screens, it becomes problematic for that. Hey, I was watching that. Do you know, if you were watching that, go to the Line War YouTube channel instead. Just search for Line War and Tournament, or go to the Steam page, and there's a link there. Because we did broadcast a lot of those matches, and we do commentary for all of it. Which is, there's a lot of stuff that maybe doesn't meet the eye to begin with, but when you start understanding the game and how the different plays work out, it's like a super complicated chess game, you could call it. So it's quite fun. Oh, Geoff uses 3. And Draco, you use 3 monitors, 2 plus. I don't know. It confuses me. I've got a 1080p here. And I've got like a super wide here. What about the tractor as a modeling topic? No, okay. That sounds good. Let's do a tractor. I was up to 5 at one time. Why would you want 5 monitors for? For work, I use 3, and at home, I use 2. The only thing I've got on this monitor on the side here is my YouTube stream, but it still confuses me. So I'm gonna go, because now I got to get OBS here. Maybe I should. As you know, like I show most of the time the wrong thing anyway. So let's fix this. Here we go. And let's put some music back on. Chilling out. A tractor, you say? Okay, let's do it. So I'm gonna go for my palette. If you haven't used my palette texture, it feels like every time I start Blender these days, I mention that. But check the link in my description, because there's a palette texture there. I always use that one when I do my stuff. and it's this one. It's a great one. It started when the 10-minute modeling challenge started. I actually did the custom textures every time, and then I started to create my basic palette. And I like the gradients here. The only thing it doesn't really offer is transitions between, let's say you want something that's between a green and blue, then you're a bit stuck. But I did add the desaturated colors here. So, I mean, some of the most common asked questions are still like, how do you get the palette? And there is no such thing as a palette within Blender like this. It's literally just a Photoshop texture where I created all of these gradients. I thought I want to have this color, this color, this color. Created a whole bunch of grayscales and gradients. And then I also get a question like, why do they repeat? And it's because sometimes I use emission. So I just want to have the same palette in most places. Here are the desaturated ones. But in the lower right corner, I've got also an alternative texture where it's just black in the top 2 quadrants and the lower left quadrant. And then it's got the colors down here in the lower right quadrant, because then when you drag UVs on here to do emission, they actually light up. And then I had one for transparency here too. So what Arvid said in the chat there as well, there's something called the weekly modeling challenge, and you should check it out. It's a really good thing that's going. It's been going for half a year now in the Imphenzia Discord channel, and it's a community-driven thing by Arvid and Alex Rack 2. And they've created every week there's a new topic, and then every now and then, maybe every month or every other month, I'd say, at best, I cover those as well. I go through the results and do some critique, even though I'm probably not that qualified anymore to do critique, because you guys are doing some really cool stuff there. But then we also pick up some emoji winners. So, and apparently this week is a tractor theme. So I'm gonna bring up. Let's see. Let's switch to. Sometimes what I do is I Google just like tractor and do an image search. I'm going to bring that up on screen because a lot of people ask how do I get my inspiration, and I don't really use blueprint modeling, but when I just Googled tractor now and I went to image search, and usually I just use it for some visual inspiration. And a John Deere tractor, a green John Deere tractor, that's immediately what came to my mind as well. So I'm going to do a tractor, and I'm going to go for the good old, like, traditional look here. Not the old look. I'm going to go for, like, the traditional look anyway. So I'll just stick this to the side. So I've got those. I don't even click on the images. I just keep the image search, like, mosaic thing open, so I can just see a few of them, maybe get some ideas. All right. Again, if you got any questions, just... ask them in the chat. I'll try to capture them. We've got @Imphenzia here. Let's see. I'll do them just before I start. And don't forget to add it to the weekly challenge submissions. Well, I could do that, but I can't win anyway, can I? Oh, the music is too loud. Sorry. Let's bring it down. There we go. Hopefully that's better. And we've got... I know you've done like a town center in the 10-minute challenge. Do you have anything on making low poly terrain or dungeon assets? I did a dungeon entrance, but we found out later on it's more of a cave entrance that I did. So I always thought like a dungeon entrance was a cave entrance, but I was corrected. So I don't, and then I've got a little bit, it's not a 10-minute modeling challenge, but I do have, oh, well, there's one with an island as well that you want to check. And then in my YouTube history, there's also something called Skull Island. I did some modeling on a little bit more detailed island as well. Oh, we've got Daniel as well. Can you also explain rigging the tractor and how that can be used in Unity? Well, that's a good question. I only use rigging personally for characters, and I've had a lot of requests to do rigging for vehicles and stuff, but I've actually never needed to rig a vehicle inside of Blender, and I need to do it because I need to learn it, but I can't really do any tutorials on it yet because I just haven't done it. So when I bring stuff into Unity, I don't bring it in like that. If I create a vehicle, I just import the car itself, and sometimes as separate parts if I want to be able to change some, like a wing or something on it. And then I import the wheels separately, and then I have to reconfigure everything instead inside of Unity. So you have to create wheel colliders and treat them as separate objects. So it could be good to know maybe. All right. Oh, Sam, I want to thank you for all your knowledge, sharing it. Thanks. I'm 35. Ooh, I'm jealous. I'm 12 years younger. I wish I was 35 too. And I just finished my dev studies, and your channel is a blast. Keep on track. Thanks. And like I said, I'm going to try to step it up with a video content creation now. what will you do now? I'm going to do a tractor. So let's go for it. See, I've got my palette texture. I'm going to go into the UV editing tab. I'm going to enable screencast keys so you guys can see what keys I'm pressing. There we go. Just making sure it's visible. That's it. And my friend was asking if we need to credit for the palette. No, you don't. Avocado, just use it. Have fun with it. No need to do any crediting there. It's such a simple palette thing, and anyone could create another one. So just go for it. Use it to whatever you want. No problem. Oh, Mike B as well, like the low poly videos. Thanks. I'm looking forward to doing some more. So I'm realizing a lot of the stuff that I do. I think I'm going to do maybe a video like art or Blender development or Blender modeling for developers. I think it's a good because I mean there's some artists that are so much better than me at modeling stuff. So I think what my area seems to be like maybe helping anyone to be able to do stuff in Blender. So I'm actually looking forward to being able to do some more on that. So let's create the tractor. I also get a lot of question on what add-ons I use, and I only really use, I'm a Mr. Vanilla, because I just use usually Auto Mirror and Loop Tools. Those are the only two. I know there's a lot of great ones out there, like Box Cutter and all sorts of cool stuff, but I rarely use them. Yeah, so I'm going to do Auto Mirror here, and I'm going to create that tractor. I have to bring back my memories now, because I did one video where I did something called like a perfect topology car. And I struggled for a long time because usually I modeled different vehicles by doing like, I watch tutorials and you do like a panel, you do the front panel, and then you go move on to the door, and then you do the hood or the bonnet or whatever you want to call it. And then you add, and it took a long time to make it. And after a while you sort of get into, it doesn't really work for my low poly modeling process. So I did find a method, and I think at some point I'm going to refresh myself and do it, because I did the 10-minute modeling where I did 10 cars in 10 minutes, but that's super low poly and super fast. But then I also did one, so check out that one, check in the history. I think it's maybe around 60 or something episode, doing a perfect topology car, so it could be useful. But I'm going to go for a tractor then, and it's funny, like everyone knows what a tractor looks like, but when you think about it, you know it's got like 4 big wheels, or at least 2 big ones. But then when you think about like the actual chassis itself, what does it look like? Then it becomes a little bit, I've never actually drawn even a tractor before. So let's just go for, let's see what they could look like. I'm just looking at the images a little bit here. Seems to be quite a narrow column in the middle, and I'm going to make it green like that John Deere. So we'll go for there maybe. I'm not going to do a 10-minute modeling challenge today. And they have to have a little bit of clearance as well. And I'm going to bring it in. This is going to look terrible, by the way, guys. So get prepared now. And I think I'm going to go for that proportion for the center core there. And let's see, I'll scroll through. You can't really see what I'm looking on the other screen. I'm just scrolling up and down a little bit to see. And then you've got the option to either do an open cab one or a closed one. I think I'm going to do a closed one. And maybe a Control R, loop cut, always good. Slant this one a little bit there. And then it's funny, it's basically just like a piece of metal with a bunch of wheels on. So hilarious. And I still don't know how to model it, so. Okay, I'm going to pick one that looks that one. It's funny, the wheels are blocking pretty much everything. I'm going to put the wheels there so I can get a sense of thing, and I think I spoke about this in most of my videos. I like to model everything in the same object, so I'm going to grab this face here, pressing 3 to get the face select, Shift D to duplicate it, just right click to snap it back, and then I usually just go, I'm going to do low poly of course, so right click and subdivide it, then I'm going to edit, and here's the other tool I like to use, the loop tools, and do circle, because then I'm starting to get the wheel shape that I want. Then we can just look on side view here, Control 3 on the tab, and then I get very low poly wheels here. I'm going to make the wheels about that big, and then E to extrude them, and you could debate that I should really have more. Okay, this is too low poly. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do the other way. So in that case, if you want some more polygons, Shift right click to get the cursor there. Still in the same object, Shift A, and then I'm going to do a cylinder. And I've got clipping enabled here on the auto mirror, or on mirror in this case, because auto mirror just applies the mirror modifier or adds it. So if you got this little spanner icon here, if I try to move this now, you see that they're glued together. So you need to disable clipping, and then you can separate them, and then you can re-enable clipping. It's just to get that little glue thing, because if you move them in, they'll glue. I speak too much because I want to do that again, because I don't, even though I want low poly, I don't want that many, so I'm going to go for 16 segments instead. So that's another thing. Usually you can expand that little thing down there, get that up. So clipping off, clipping back on. Don't forget to re-enable it, because you usually want to have it. Otherwise you start getting seams that are broken here. If you forget that one, then you start to get in tears like this, and you might even notice it could be the tiniest of tear like that. Very annoying, so try to remember to... You can always enable it later on and fix them all. So one little trick there, if that happens to you and you've got like little tears like this all over the place, one way to do it is do Alt-Z and then B to box select or something, grab all of those and press, or actually, do you know what? You can just do clipping and then bring them back together. You don't even need to do Alt-Z. But Alt-Z actually allows you to pick them all like that, so it's pretty good. So we glued it back. Now we're gonna do L, and here we go. Like, why are all these weird colors here? It's because it's spreading by default. It creates a UV like this that's spread out over the entire texture. So I'm just gonna press A to select them all, A, scale 0, and G to move it to a black color. And then rotate, and then you can press Y to rotate it around the specific axis and do 90, and then scale, and then I press X and it scales them down like that. So we got a little bit of rounded wheels. The other one's a little bit too unround. And apparently tractors seem to have yellow rims here, at least the John Deere does. So I might do select, I mean, there's so many ways you could do different stuff. Just find a way that works for you. If I wanted to do, usually, maybe I'll just press 3 to face select both of those, and Control B. That's one way to do it. You can get a little bevel there. And then maybe we can get a little thing going around as well. So I'll do Control R, loop cut it there. And then I'll rotate maybe around the Y-axis or X-axis. And we get something like that. And then now I actually wish that I would have had more anyway. Because I should have probably had 32 segments. And then it's a question, should I recreate it? The reason why is because I want to be able to extrude these. Because if you do Alt-E here to extrude, you can start creating like these little patterns for the wheels there. So there's, again, loads of ways you could have done it. And you don't really want to do Control R because I have to do it like, plus you get that one. So do you know what? I'm going to do L, select linked, delete them again, Shift A, cylinder. Let's keep it at 32 this time and just repeat the process. This is how you get faster. You just do the same thing over and over again. Rotate, Y, 90, scale, X, shrink it down, scale X, and A on the left, scale 0, G to black there. And I think I missed it. So Shift A, cylinder, I needed to change it to 32. And clipping off, back in. That's it. Clipping back on, A, scale 0, go here, rotate, Y, 90, scale X, and scale X again, maybe like that. So this is not a 10-minute speed modeling challenge. I'm just thinking as I go now, trying to talk you through it. Control R, rotate, X, and select these, Control B, bevel those. And here's another one that's pretty good. It's called checker deselect. I can do Control R again and see if I do. I won't do them there yet. See, because if I do Alt click, you can Alt click and click on one of these edges and it'll do a loop select like this. And then there's something called checker deselect. It's F3 checker deselect. That could be pretty useful, but I don't think I'm going to use it now because they're still too big like this, Alt-E. So I don't really necessarily want to use them. I think a better option in this case is just to Control R, rotate X-axis still a little bit, maybe get a little bit, Control R. I'll stick to that, I think. Select these. Another issue here is that you want to do individual. So if I do Alt-E now to extrude, or I to inset first, and I again, Then you can do insert individual. That's pretty good, but in this case, I don't really want that split there. And you have to optimize or think a little bit on how you work in that case, because the way you'd have to do it is you'd have to do these individually like this, I, and then do it again, I, and that's no good. So I'm going to Control Z all the way back to here. And then scale this one, X. And I think I'm going to do this instead, because now I can do Alt-click there, Shift-Alt-click there. And then do I, and now I can do individual, because now it's not two adjacent ones there. So I'm going to do maybe something like that. And now I'll do Alt-D to extrude, and then Control-B to bevel those. I don't know. So it doesn't have to be super good, I guess. So, and usually I think, I mean, that'll do, I guess. It's just going to be a low poly tractor like that. Looks a bit strange, but it'll do for the purpose. I to inset this, and we'll have a bit of balloony tie here. I to inset again, move it in a bit, and I to inset, move that in. And then we'll just do like I to inset, and maybe I to inset again, bring it out. And I to inset, and E to extrude, that's the scale. Control plus grows the selection, very useful. You want to do that a lot. Unless you want to shrink it, then it's Control minus, and it's on the keypad, so I don't know what you do if you don't have a keypad. I know people are using computers without keypads. I could never do that. I'm going to go for a yellow there, so that's the wheel. Don't really like the look of that, but it'll do. All right, so if you wanted a little bit of a twist here as well, you can still do Control R, hold Alt to loop select, and then rotate around the X-axis, and you can still get a little bit of a... And there's other ways. I mean, there's so many different ways you could have done this on. Just find a way that works for you. I like that one's all right for me, I think. All right, so that's the wheel, and I'm going to be lazy, so I'm just going to copy this one. So I'll do L to select all the linked. Very useful tool, and I should take the opportunity to mention a little bit of a mini tutorial here. If you use L, it by default it selects everything that is linked geometry wise. So if you've got these vertex, that's why this is the same object, but it doesn't pick these because they're not attached in any way. They don't share a vertex anywhere. But good to know is that you can actually expand this little thing here. It's a little bit hidden, but expand that one, and you could do UVs. And now when you press L, it just selects all the ones that are linked to the same UV. And here, L. And there are other stuff as well where you can do. So you can do normal here. So if I do L here, okay, no, normal is actually the one, material, seam, sharp. So there are a few different things. The other thing I was going to say is there's another tool that's pretty useful, and it's called Shift G. It's not a tool, it's a shortcut. If you select the face, let's say I wanted to select all of these, you can Shift G, and you can do select similar. And then you could do, for example, normal there. Okay, that one's not a good example. Shift G, do area. It selects all of them with a similar area, and you can change the precision here to say, I want to select all of the ones that are on a certain size. And if you narrow that down all the way down to there, you can see that these are so uniformed in their size that it knows to pick those. And if I click this one and do Shift G area, again, I can change the precision of these and select faces that are similar. So that's often very useful. You can also do, you can have multiple ones selected too. So I use that, especially on sometimes when I create islands and stuff. I want to select slopes and whatever. So little tip, I to inset here. I'm not too picky about if I get this accurate or not, but you could do Alt Z to see through. 3 on the keypad to get the same. But usually, you know, you're not going to see both sides at the same time. So I'm just going to do I to inset again, move it in, and I to inset, and bring that in. Control R, you can still do stuff like that. Bring that in. Select that one, Control plus on the keypad, and go for a yellow color. Sometimes I do like fake shading. I do a little bit of more orange maybe on the inside, so it looks like it's got a bit of a natural shadow in there. And I'll do L to select the linked, Control 3 on the keypad, Shift D, duplicate it, and then shrink it down. And we're gonna get, I'm gonna do more, like older tractors seem to have super small wheels, but I'm gonna do like a semi-modern tractor or something. I've been watching Clarkson's Farm on Amazon. I used to watch Top Gear back in the day, And Switch now is doing farming programs, so I watch a little bit there. It's too wide here, so it's gonna bring Control R, I don't know, bring that in. Get a little narrower wheels there. And okay, so now we can do like a little cabin here. I'm just gonna look. So maybe I'll do E to extrude, S to scale. So that cabin thing's gonna go here. E to extrude, S to scale. And I'm gonna bring this back to there. I don't see the back side on this thing. So Control R works, loop cut. And I can do, so I don't see the back side, so I'm not gonna do that. I just said that, don't know why I said it again. Maybe we'll do, here's the thing, it's tempting sometimes, I'm tempted often to do Control B to bevel this, but then you start breaking quads, so it could be good. If I wanted to do Control R now, I can't do loop cuts around there anymore. So even though it's tempting, you might want to save stuff like that, some operations, and find different ways to do it. Maybe a different way would have been to do Control R there, and then just move these in instead, because now you're still working on a pretty good topology there. And I'm gonna stick like a grill. I'm actually gonna barbecue after this, speaking of grilling. So I'm gonna do something here. Let's do Shift D. Sometimes, apparently, judging by this picture, they've got a little thing going there. Don't know what that's like, a dispenser of some sort. We have the grill, so I'm gonna do Control R again. Maybe I'll still round that off a little bit there. And I'm gonna Shift select a few of these. Control R, you can do a loop cut here too. I'm starting to diverge off the image now because it doesn't actually look like this hardly. So I'm gonna do that. And then we could bring this in maybe. Get a little tilt there. And I'm gonna put some headlights on here because farmers need to work in the night as well. Control R, loop cut. Now I'm starting to add a little bit too much geometry possibly, but never mind. I to inset. If you get that, you can click on I twice. If you do it, you can toggle between insetting just individual faces like this, or uniform like that, or unison. So we'll do that. Scale Z, maybe. No, I'm going to do E to extrude. And I'm going to do just white headlights there. So I don't like that at all. So Control Z. I'm going to bring this down first. Shift select that. Bring it down to there. And then now we're going to do... It's hard to make a tractor look. I want to coolify it somehow. They look too practical. So I want it wider. I want a lot wider. I'm going to do like sports car headlights on this one instead. I'm going to bring that down to there. Bring it forward. Let's bring this whole thing forward, I think. So top view, 7 on the key, 7 on the key to Alt Z to see through. And I'm going to expand it past this front a little bit there. 1 on the keypad to get those vertices. Lock select them. Forward. And there we go. Bring this back. And I'm just trying to get a little bit of a cooler front on it. There we go. I to inset. E to extrude. And then right click to snap it back. And then I just bring it into there. So whether these look cool or not, that I'll leave that up to you to decide. I thought they looked a little bit more mean. Still very tiny. You could fix that maybe in post. After they were done there. And I guess you can... I wouldn't be too afraid either to press O and do proportional editing. You can... okay, so you see that the wheels are moving now. You don't really want to do that unless you want to make a cartoon thing. So just do Alt O, because then you take away that center thing. Now you can still play around a little bit to get a bit of a different look at it. So I thought it looked a little bit more interesting, maybe like that. So we also need some sort of a thing here for the... We can do off for them. So the mud guards, or whatever you call those. I'm going to bring that up to there. I don't know if this is a good approach or not, but let's move it. So I'm really diverging off the image. I'm just roughly getting everything similar now. So I'm going to cancel that again, bring it up to there. Control R, because I need some more geometry there. This, I think, needs to come a little bit further back still. I'm going to check the chat in a minute too, and then I'm going to go and barbecue in a minute. That's going to be nice. I'll put you on hold while I barbecue, shall I? No. Control R again. I want to do up a little bit. I'm just trying to get the shape of the way I want to. This is very high. This is very different. These wheels are way too big. So I'm realizing that now. Scale. You can do, when you want to scale it down, you can do Shift X. That scales them in every axis except the X-axis there. Could be good. And the front wheels are too big too. Scale down there. All right, now I can bring these down a little bit. I just realized that they got way too high. Don't want them get all the way up there. So maybe like that or something. And Control R, still no. Okay, so I'm realizing, why am I attaching? This is a thing I used to do a lot in the past that I actually moved away from. Why am I trying to necessarily to attach it? You have to ask yourself that question, or I have to ask myself. Because sometimes it's better to just do, like, I'll grab those, Shift D to duplicate it, and then maybe Scale X 0 to flatten it, and then Scale Z, and then maybe I'll just shape it like this. So I'm moving on that axis. Control 3 to see the side view, G. So I'm just creating a profile here instead for the way I want the fender. I don't know if that's what we call it. Mudguard. So let's say I wanted to create it like that. You can just send it into the tractor now and do E to extrude. Because there's no point really trying to get it integrated into the original geometry unless you really have to. There might be reasons why you want to do that, but it could be very good reasons why you don't. So, and especially if I'm going to do low poly stuff, there's no need really to do it. So I'm going to do E to extrude that on, Scale Z, flatten a little bit, bring it down, Control plus, grow it, and change the color to a darker green there. No, it needs to be black even. There you go. So you could do that, but it needs to go further down. In this case, I could just like do whatever I want. Control 3, rotate, E to extrude, rotate. You can control right click as well. That's a different way to extrude. Scale it, bring it in. I don't know. I'm just going off whatever now. It's starting to look less and less like the picture. I still want to create the. It's going to be a lot of glass here because they want to be able to see all the way around, I guess. So I'm going to do. Maybe I'll do. If you want to pick all the top here, you can press. If you press Control, it'll pick the shortest path. But if you could press Control and Shift, it'll select like a grid selection, all of them, block select. So, and then E to extrude, S to scale. We'll do a little thing there. We're gonna do the windscreen now. So, I'm gonna be able to see out when they work here. So I'm just gonna do, again, I'm not gonna do transparent for this one. But I do need a little beam on the corner there, so another Control R. It's starting to get a lot of geometry here. And Control R again. And here we go. We're going to put glass, 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 glass. And okay, I need one more Control R first. There. And let's just put glass, 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 glass. Glass. I'm holding Shift to select these. And then I'm going to do I to inset and Alt E, extrude long face normals. Okay, this is I didn't want. If you do I to inset and you get that in the center here, when you have I pressed, press B for boundary. That removes that one. Do Alt E, extrude long face normals. And usually for cartoony cars, I just, instead of doing transparency, I do fake transparency by just putting blue, like as if it's transparent. Sometimes if you want it to look a little bit cooler, you could maybe do it, because this is looking quite ridiculous. But you could do Control Z, let's go back for the selection. Sometimes you could do tinted windows instead, so that probably looks better for this one. So, okay, and rear view mirrors they need, and some lights at the top here. And again, don't integrate necessarily the lights into the actual shape. since I've got some geometry, should I just do something different there? There we go. Shift D, duplicate. I'm just going to do some lights up here. E to extrude, and super simple, but apparently super big as well. Let's color them a different green, and I to inset, E to extrude, and we've got some headlights there. And they need taillights, I think it would be illegal. It should be illegal to drive them on the road anyway, because they're so slow. So I to inset. No, we don't want to do that. Okay, we could do I to inset. GG slides them down along the same plane, so you don't break that. And again, I don't know if this is where I'm not even looking at the picture anymore now. Usually when it looks good enough, I start diverging anyway. I'm too lazy to look then. So I'll just go, it should probably be like that. And then we should probably have some, okay, this is 2. Do that, move that in. And here, I think I'll just do Shift D. I'll do similar to what it was in the front. There'll be something here. I want E to extrude, S to scale. And then it needs a number plate as well, I guess. I to inset, E to extrude, and G to just change that color. There we go. And the mirrors, I do similar as well. I'll just pick any face here. That one, for example, or I don't know, it doesn't matter. As long as I press, I'll pick that one. Shift D to duplicate it. E to extrude. And we'll do, this one was a bit oddly shaped, so let's bring it in first. If I want to flatten that one, scale X0, that flattens it. And then GG will slide that on, GG, just shape it. And then I'll just create something that E to extrude, S to scale, E to extrude, S to scale, and see, I have to move it forward, I think, to here. And then I'm just going to do, again, I don't even know what I'm doing here, because I'm not going off the thing anymore. E to extrude, and then here, Shift D to duplicate it, because I'm going to reshape it a little bit. Scale X, scale, or scale Y, scale X. E to extrude, okay, it's too close. E to extrude, S to scale, L. Bring it into here, scale it up, big mirrors, need to see what's going on. L, scale Y, scale it up, and bring it down to there. All right, it's time for the chat nearly now. And front mud guards as well. One way to do it is just to do L, select the link, Shift D to duplicate it, scale it down, then we get a similar look. Control 3 on the keypad, scale, I don't know, have a clue. R to rotate them, maybe that'll do. Bring them into there, scale X. Again, I've stopped looking at the reference now. I'm just trying to do something that looks okay. And here, maybe to break off the colors, Shift D, scale Y. There's going to be a John Deere turned into Deere Imphenzia. L, I'm just doing, I think I want to have some accent colors now. Maybe we'll do, I'm actually going to look now. No, okay, it doesn't give me, I just felt like I wanted to have some sort of a ventilation or something going, so I'm going to move that in. Maybe I'll do Control R, Alt S, change that a little bit, and here I just pretend that the cabin, especially me overheating all the time. Just want to create something here. G, that could be black, I don't know. And it looks a bit too dull in the front there, so I'm nearly done now, I think. There you go. Maybe we'll do this one a dark green or black as well, for some reason. Looks a little bit strange here, possibly, but it'll be alright. Alright. I still think these mirrors are too small, actually. Scale. And I think I want to turn them black too. There we go. GG. And move that in. I'm gonna do Reggae is coming on. E to extrude. Again, I have no idea why I'm doing that. It just felt like it should be some sort of an accent there. All right. That's it. That's my tractor, I think. Usually as well, I don't really bother connecting it, to be honest. I mean, you could do Shift D to duplicate, E to extrude all the way to there or something. You could just fake something else, select the Lumix G. And I think I'm breaking my own rules here. This drop down here, do backface culling. Because I think I'm actually extruded in the wrong direction. No, I didn't. So it's alright. And underneath as well, maybe you want to go for a different color, just darker. Alright. So that's Imphenzia's John Deere inspired let's wing it tractor. I thought the black windows looked a lot better than anything else. So that's it. Let's go to the chat comments. Tear it apart. Is anyone still watching? Yeah, it took longer than 10 minutes. I need to pick up the pace. Exhaust, I don't know. How do they even have the exhaust? I have to look at the picture then. Is there like one of those things that just stick up? Because I'm guessing they wouldn't really be down here anyway. Could be an exhaust somewhere. Let's save it and upload it. All right, let's go. I'm going to check the comments again. So at Imphenzia, if you've got any specific questions, we're going to go. How do we get in? You just walk in through the door or jump in through the window. That's a good point, actually. So do you have to get in? It's a very good point. L. So I have to move that back to there. L. I have to make room for a door. So I'll bring that into there. Alt Z to see through. Sometimes it can be a bit tricky to pick the vert there, but we found it. So the door, a bit of a different design. I'm going to put a door handle here, because why not make it slanted? And the door shape is here. There we go. Can I do something? Can I cheat a little bit here? Trying to think. I to inset. Alt E to extrude long face normals. No, that's not good. Alt E, extrude long face normals. That's not good either. You could just fake the color there, maybe. No, that's not good either. The door's not going to open on this one, apparently. Then I would probably start at detaching stuff, but I'll just put the door handle there, I think. The step I got though, so you can get up. Maybe we'll do another step. Shift D. Oh, we got a problem here. This is a big problem. Alt Z. Because it won't rotate. Alt Z. Can I grab it? That one. And we've got something that's a bit broken there. Here's another one. L to select the links. Oh, I duplicated it, that's right. Delete. So try to find that. Move it into there. Shift the scale Z. Scale X 0. Bring it down and into there and E to extrude. No, it looked cooler without it, I think. Plus it's hanging in the air, so let's go. Alright, it's missing a spoiler and a rocket engine and a turret and wings and fins and some more bling bling maybe. Yeah, that's true. It's too boring, isn't it? I remember doing something like this for... let's see where they go. That's one big thick axle anyway. There. Yeah, it's too plain. I remember, did you ever see those cartoon cars that you used to draw? I think I did that for my perfect topology car as well. If you do actually bring back Alt O, I remember doing, maybe I should save it first. Save desktop. Truck. Is it called a truck? No. Not truck. Tractor. I'm gonna not find this one now because I wrote the wrong thing. But then when you do the proportional and you do alto again, you can create those cartoony ones. G. Alto again to get everything. G. You can make those, you know, with the excessive wheels. I don't know if you remember them. Where it's actually tilting. Stylized like this. G, G, and G, G. Don't know why they always used to sit on the street and draw these things that look like this. Don't know why they did that. But style, I guess. Never mind. They wouldn't roll anyway. It's not how I roll. Alright. It's missing cyber neon lights to show that it's an AI tractor. Yeah, it should have. I don't have specularity or not emissions set up right now. It's way too green as well. From a distance, again, if you're making a game, I always tend to make stuff and then I say, from a distance, it could pass, you know, it could work. Maybe I'll have a slight different green on those. Proportional actually works there as well. E, G, there. Slightly different green, just to accent it. All right, that's it, folks. That's gonna be it. That's my tractor. I guess I'll upload it. So, let's see, big as sun. But the problem, Fun Noober says about the door, so you don't need it. If you're making a tractor game, you don't need to get in it. Unless you're making a tractor game where you need to get in and out of the car. And that's another pitfall, my folks. Because when you make a game, I started to make a similar game to low poly racing. And then I thought, okay, what if the cars can break into pieces instead? And then I spent time doing that. And then I thought, okay, what if the driver could get in and out of the car? That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? And then I spent time doing that. And I thought, okay, the door can open, you should see him get in and sit. And all of the time, it's called scope creep. So you start diverging away from what you originally wanted to make. So just be aware of that. So it could be good to skip the door. That's why it's for educational purposes that I've skipped the door. All right, let's bring up OBS here. So that's gonna be it. That's a Thursday video, a little bit old school now to do some modeling. That felt good to do. Hope you got some out of it. I'm definitely gonna have to do more modeling again because I feel it slipping. So if you've done modeling in the past and you've stopped doing it, you should not let it slip. Get back there and do some modeling. Let's see if there's any quick last minute questions. You can squeeze them in right now. Before I head off to light up the barbecue. And then I'm going to have a beer as I barbecue. That's going to be super sweet. Thanks for the stream. Great. You felt good modeling. Yeah, thanks. I didn't feel like the result necessarily turned out amazing. And it took like half an hour or 40 minutes. Alex, bring back modeling. Sad face. Yeah, okay. So, well, I just did a little bit, didn't I? But we should do it. We should do it. Where are you uploading to? What do you mean? Do you mean the tractor? In that case, I'll put it to the weekly challenge then, I guess. How important do you... sorry, we got Tay William here. How important do you think optimizing and making the models symmetrical is? Well, my mind is super symmetrical. I love everything that's in symmetry, so I struggle when it's not. I wouldn't say... and optimizing, you won't really have to worry about that either. Because if it's for a game, the performance is going to be there. There's so few polygons. If you're doing this type of style, I wouldn't optimize it at all. The only optimization that you could have maybe wanted to, if you're going to deform stuff, it's good to optimize your topology, especially for characters. But for hard surface object like this one, I wouldn't worry about it at all, to be honest. So, and you know, I did a game called Parking Spaces once, and then I thought exactly, I had that exact mindset that I don't have to care about the topology because I'm not going to warp it. And then I created a lowrider car, and I wanted the car to an effect where it was jumping up and down, and I wanted the car to bend as it was doing it because I thought it'd look a little bit cooler. And okay, so there we go. Topology messed it up for me. Then I couldn't bend it because I had two big n-gons. So, good. I've got another question here from, oh, first of all, Isaac Peak. Is scope creep is real? Exactly, it is. It's very real. And enjoy your barbecue. Thanks, I'm going to do that. And Clover Music. How would you suggest making a mountain in low poly world? Yeah, it depends. If you want... you could do sculpting. That's one way to do it. Just have a massive board. If you want the creative control to create all the crevices and create maybe like a volcano or something, then I've done that in the past. I've created just a subdivided twice a big plane, and then I just did sculpting to grow it and shrink it. And then I often, to bring it back into low poly realms, I usually could use the decimate modifier to bring it down in polygons again. But you could also, instead of sculpting, you could do, sometimes I've also done where I do proportional editing, just like we did here, O on the keyboard. And then I grab verts and I raise them up and down. So that's another way to do it. And a third one I'd consider doing is also using the displace modifier. And there's some stuff there to automate that type of deformation with noise and stuff. I don't usually do that because usually I want to create it like with the sculpting. We got Mithril Man. Sorry if I'm saying all the names wrong here. I repeat question in one sentence. How do you animate cartoonish tractor style tires? Do you animate just the texture? So if they were cartoonish as the way I had drawn them, you obviously cannot rotate them, and panning the texture could have worked if it was a very low poly model, and maybe you could get away with if you could bake the texture as well so that it had normal maps so you could see. The problem is going to be if you want to have it really baked, not baked, if you want to really have it rotating, then I'm trying to think. I would have probably created a shader, funny enough, that keeps the proportions but rotates them around the vertex, but it's quite complicated. But I would have probably investigated something like that in the end, because you cannot rotate the object, then it'll look super weird. Barbecue, when should we come? Woo! Yeah, my family's they're gonna be hungry now. I'm starving. Mia PC, can you start over? Long time no see, and last week it was my fault because I didn't have a voice. But I'm glad you could make it to the end, and you can actually, I did modeling today for a change, so that was nice. Felt good. No, the food's not going to be burned yet because I have to light up the barbecue now. And I'm going to do meringue swish as well for dessert. That's going to be nice. Before I go on my healthy summer thing now. Another question here. Fun noobers, it'll be probably the last question. Would you recommend vertex painting as a way to color models? I tend to not do that. I'm trying to think of why. It's because... why did I not do that? Because when I came up with a texture model, one of the main reasons why I created the palette texture is because I had in mind to replace the palette texture, and I thought it was easy to get the control all the time to go, I want this face to be that color. If you do vertex color, I might be totally wrong here, but if you select a face and you do vertex color, would it not gradient its way to the next vertex in that case? So you'd have to double up the vertices? I'm not sure. I might be totally off the rail there. So, and also when you bring them into Unity, I liked being able to have that texture. If you have them in Unity or a game engine with vertex color, you just have to make sure that the shader is picking up the colors, but usually I think that's out of the box. Yeah, so like Mia said, vertex painting also needs a lot of vertices. Doesn't work well on low poly. No, I think it makes sense. What do you put on the grill? We're going to do some steak, I think. Some nice steak. It's going to be nice. I think so anyway. I don't know. My wife went to the shop. So we'll see. Whatever she bought, I'm going to slap it on there. I'm going to have a beer as well. But it's not in the fridge. Disaster. So I'm going to have to hold off the barbecue for an hour. Why isn't there like an opposite of a microwave? A micro chill. That's what I want. Barbecue stream. It's too far away. It's through the wall on that side. How to make fresh mind for ideas. What to do in Blender. It depends. Just try. If you're going to do low poly stuff, Google low poly and then just see what's there. Maybe it can spark some ideas in your mind. It could be a good thing to do. Otherwise, I'll just pick anything. Something, if you think of a game that you would have liked to create assets for or something, think of what you could create there. All right, that's going to be it. Do you know what? And I'm remembering the outro as well now. The music has stopped. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching, and girl. It's been fantastic. I'm happy to be able to stream again, and sorry for the missing stream last week. And I'm going to look forward now to creating some videos as well, some classic good old videos. I know that the streams are dragging out a lot longer than the videos, and Arvid is going to have hissy fits if I don't start making shorter content. I don't think he's getting clearance at home there to spend this amount of time in front of the screen. So, but... very happy to be back streaming, and I'm gonna see you again. So take care, have a great one. And I nearly pressed the stop button here without hitting the outro, so that's not gonna happen. It's gonna come right now. Take care and see you then. Bye for now. Imphenzia signing out. See ya.